Hello, people. How's it going? No, I haven't read this book. I was given this book yesterday while I was at church. I figured I should at least read it. First, title. There you go. I'll read it. I'll read anything at least once. But no, I've been thinking. See, my problem, I don't think Trump's the actual problem. I think the problem is what both sides, and when I say both sides, I think both sides of the argument. When it comes to evangelicals or the church, whatever you want to call them or call us or whatever, I think there's a bigger issue at stake. While both sides are yelling at each other and accusing each other and screaming at each other and becoming as bad as Christ-like is not possible because they're not being Christ-like either side. If anyone knows me, I will basically have problems with both sides. I think the problem is very simple. I think he's a distraction. I think she's a spiritual distraction, keeping Christians from doing the one thing they're supposed to be doing, what the church is supposed to be doing. Because right now, I watch both sides, and I'm sorry, one side is more vitriolic than the other side. I'm sorry. And they know who they are. And they think they're fighting, I don't know what they think they're fighting. I'm sorry, you're not fighting the Antichrist. Trump is not the Antichrist. He doesn't qualify. One, he's not savvy enough. He's not politically savvy enough. He's also not smart enough. He's a businessman trying to be a politician. But to listen to both sides, something is being forgotten. Okay? I mean, I understand why the Trump supporters are the Trump supporters. I do get it. I understand very well why they support Trump. Now, the title, I don't agree with. I mean, how evangelicals portray Jesus for power, the Judas effect. I don't know if I agree with it yet, because I haven't read the book yet. I suspect I don't. I will read the book, and then maybe I'll do a review on the book. I think as long as both sides are at basically being as bad as Christ-like to each other as a Nazi mob, or Hamas mob, or anybody else I can think of. Okay? Both sides are literally turning into hateful, angry, bitter Christian human beings against fellow believers. There's a problem. I'm sorry. And you've made it personal. You've made it personal so badly that you are literally attacking a fellow believer in Christ because they don't agree with you politically. On biblical issues, I can almost understand it if it was a theological debate or a theological problem. But this is a political problem that is ripping the church apart. And the church, I don't care what side you're on, you're all doing it. Now, I get it. Trump is who he is. I'm not going to go through it. I've done enough Trump videos, and you want to know how I feel about Trump? Look at all the other videos I've done on the subject. I've attacked both sides. I've criticized both sides. I have found fault with both sides because that's what I do. I look at both sides of the issue. I will tell you what I think the real problem is, and it ain't Trump. What is the one thing the church is supposed to be doing in the world? And it's not attacking each other. It's not waving political flags for or against Trump or MAGA or anybody else for that matter. What is the one thing the church is supposed to be doing that they're not doing because they're so busy being political, making it so personal they can't see straight or see each other straight or, follow the greatest commandments like love one another. You remember that one, the love one another thing? I don't see it. The world is looking at the church and they're laughing. I guarantee the world is laughing hysterically at Christians at each other's throats over politics, not theology, not anything other than politics. As long as the church is doing this, it's not being done, the Great Commission. You know what's not being done? The Great Commission. You know what's not being done? The Great Commission. Maybe we should go back to that. I don't know. Go back to the greatest commandments too, like love one another, be kind to each other, pray for each other, be forgiving. All those other fine attributes that Christians on both sides like to scream about, but yet, when it comes to politics, oh no, I don't have to. They don't agree with me politically, so I get to call them all kinds of names. I get to attack them. I get to dislike them. I get to hate them. It's funny what happens when you make politics personal. You become the very thing you're fighting against. You're becoming the very monster you think you're fighting against. Take my word for it. Take personally from my word. Believe me, I've been there. I know what it's like to let anger and hate and bitterness literally consume you to the point where you forget you're supposed to be a follower of Jesus Christ and not your political stance or your political party or anything else. And you can call it all you want. You're free as Christian. I think you should check that at the door. I think you really should double check what you're doing. I mean, it's sad to me. I mean, what the church is doing to itself in the name of politics, not in the name of the gospel, not in the name of the Bible, not in the name of God, but in the name of politics. I've been saying this for years. Politics is destroying the church. Politics is destroying the church on both sides. I get it. I know why a lot of people like Trump and why they like MAGA and they like this, that, and the other. A lot of them just want a decent society. That's why a lot of them are into this. Yeah, Trump is what Trump is. Trump hasn't changed. This is the same Trump who was around 10, 20, 30 years ago, 40 years ago. This is the same guy. He hasn't changed. Yeah, he's crass, he's crude, he's a whole bunch of things. Guess what? Guess how God sees you the same way. Now, this is what gets me. Politics has this amazing ability to make self righteousness look good. Politics has the amazing ability to make the self righteous think that their self righteousness is okay with God. It isn't. I mean, there are verses in the Bible. Look at that. It amazes me. There's people who scream that they're going back to scripture, this, that, and the other, but yet they keep choosing verses that attack people who disagree with them. Excuse me, politically. I get it. I get why Trump is popular. I get why he's not popular. Believe me, I get it. But as Christians, you have no business hating anybody. You have no business being unforgiving or compassionate or incompassionate or incompassionate, whatever it is, or any of those other things. You're supposed to be Christ-like. And I'm sorry. I get in trouble when I say, maybe we just pray for Trump. Pray for him. No, I can't do that. He's Trump. He's evil. He's the Antichrist. And that's your judgment call. That is you're the judge of all these things. When did you become God? Self-righteousness to me amazes me how much it's destroying the church. How it is absolutely dividing the church. How it is actually turning people against each other who shouldn't be turned against each other. I mean, I get it. I know I keep repeating this because I do get it. I know why people like him. I know why people like Trump. I get it. He says all the right things. But as a politician, he really isn't a very good politician. As a businessman, he's very good. But he is a businessman trying to be the president of the United States. And unfortunately, to be the president of the United States, you have to be political and less a businessman. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I get it. I know he angers people. He angers the self-righteous. He angers those who think that somehow their sins are less than his. Here's a newsflash for you. God doesn't see a degree of sin. He sees sin. Your sinfulness in God's eyes is no better and no worse and no different than Trump's. He may get to heaven before you. Think about it. Should. That's what self-righteousness does. It tells you, don't think about it. You're better than everybody else. You're better than, particularly better than him. But I'm better than you. And I've said, and I keep repeating, I get it. I understand why this exists. I do. I understand why. Because in some ways, it's probably accurate up to a point. I will probably agree with the basic idea. I don't think I'm going to agree with everything else. But you understand where this person's coming from. I get it. I understand it. Believe me, I do. problem is when you start making politics personal, when you start making everything personal, you become the very problem you're fighting, think you're fighting against. You become the very thing that you are fighting against. It's human nature. It is basic human nature that if you literally justify your actions, and you know full well that deep down something is wrong with my actions, but I'm going to do them anyway because I'm far more morally superior than anybody else. I hate politics. I really do. I don't like talking about politics because it's divisive, it's corrosive, it's dividing. I'm not a politician. I am what I am. Okay, I'm not a politician. I don't. I get it why both sides see Trump the way they do, and I do. I understand why Trump is liked, and I understand why Trump is disliked. But you know, one thing about Trump is he's never been anything other than what he is right now. He hasn't changed. He's pretty much basically the same guy. Politics is about compromise and being something you're not, and pretending to be something you're not. I know the last 4 years has been nothing but Trump bashing, Trump bashing. Trump is this, Trump is that, Trump is evil, Trump is the Antichrist, Trump is this, that, and the other. No, he's not. He's just a human being, a very flawed, sinful human being like the rest of us. Self-righteousness will destroy people because it convinces them that they are above the lowly masses. Sorry, you're not. But I and Trump and you and anybody else stand before God, He's going to see us exactly the way He sees everybody else. Simple. There's no, not one. None is righteous, no, not one. That includes you and me, including Trump, including all the everybody else on the planet. I get it though. I'm like keep repeating. I do get it. He is divisive. He is a lot of things. You know who he is? He's himself. You may not like him personally. Okay, you have every right to dislike him if you don't like him. But you know what? In the end, he's going to die. He'll stand before God. He's going to have to give an account for his life, so on and so forth, just like the rest of us. He may get to heaven first. So the self-righteousness, put it somewhere. But all you're doing is creating a problem you think you're fighting against. He's not the problem. The problem is that he's become a distraction for the church not to be doing its job, which is the Great Commission. You know, so all the world, preach the gospel, to everyone, not for your politics. God does not care about your politics. He does not care about your politics. I don't care about your politics. He doesn't either. He's not going to ask you your opinion of how he should run the kingdom or heaven. He doesn't want to hear it. He doesn't need to. I know I repeated a lot of this stuff before, but sometimes I think I have to repeat myself constantly because people don't listen. You know, here in Minnesota, we're supposed to get some sort of massive thunderstorm, and so far, we've had a little sprinkling of rain, a lot of wind, mucho clouds, and not a whole lot else. Where's the storm we were promised? It's a good thing I didn't work today. Anyway, I get why Trump is liked. I get why Trump is going for. I get all that. I also get why this exists. I know what it is. I've been seeing it. Look, I've been seeing it for a long time. I had problems in the Reagan years when the moral majority and oh, I'm not missing one, but anyway, I didn't trust the moral majority. In the 80s, I didn't trust them. There was just something about it I did not like or trust. And I'm a conservative, and I still didn't trust them. I don't know. I've always had a problem with politics in the church. It goes all the way back to Constantine the Great, when the church thought that they had converted a Roman emperor, and look at the mess it created. You want to know what destroyed the church politically? That moment. I'm a history guy. I know these things. I am fascinated by just how much the church just. I don't get it. I do get it. I shouldn't say that. I don't like talking about politics. I get frustrated with myself. I don't speak or enunciate very well because it frustrates me. The church is not here to spout its politics. It's here to preach the gospel, the Great Commission, and I'm pretty sure now, after thinking about this for quite a while, that Trump is just a distraction. He's been put there by something or someone to distract the church from doing its job, which is not political, but to preach the gospel. We're almost at 16 minutes already. I really do try to keep these videos short, but excuse me, chocolate milk does not work. I mean, I get it. I really do get it. I mean, I understand. See, I'm not. My problem is very simple. I don't view people through elected politics. I just don't. I try to just take people as they come, as they. I just try to take people as they are, whether I agree with them or not. I don't know the first thing with politics. I don't care what your politics. You're a human being. You're a fellow human being. We used to be able to disagree on these things. Well, no, people used to say that, but they didn't really disagree with that much calmness. Just now it's become like you don't agree with me, then you're this, that, and the other phobic. No, I just don't agree with you. There's a lot of things I don't agree with. I do think that I think the church has become too much involved in politics. But I'm not going to attack people for it. I will try to point out to them that that's not really why you're here. I mean, yeah, it's good to get into civic duty and society problems and this, that, and the other, but your number one job is to preach the gospel, or at least reach people with the gospel. Not tell people what your political stances are on things. It amazes me how much trouble I get into for simply saying I don't want politics part of my life to the degree that it's become. I just take people as people. That's what I do. That's all I've ever done. I didn't like it in the 80s, and I don't like it now. But anyway, I don't want to go much longer. I've rambled and babbled on long enough. You get my point. Trump is not the problem. Not really. He's a distraction. I keep talking now. He's a distraction. Of course he's a distraction. But he's not the problem. The problem is spiritual. The problem is that too many people in the church think that they can solve society's problems with spirituality and politics. And guess what? Neither one of them can fit together. It's like putting, they don't fit. It's like oil and fire. It doesn't work. It's never worked. I don't know. It is frustrating because I don't think that the future bodes very well. It's dying. I'm sorry, but the church is dying because too many people think their political opinions are just as important as their biblical opinions, and they're not. Ever gonna stop talking, David? No, probably not. I keep saying I'm gonna come up, but I'm not gonna go to 12, 19 minutes, huh? I babbled on 19 minutes. Anyway, I appreciate those who watch this, by the way. Even the silent ones that's been sitting there for about a few minutes now. Thank you for watching my ramblings. I appreciate it. Okay, I'm done rambling until I ramble on some more. My YouTube channel. I wish I had better equipment to do my channels on, but I have what I have, people. I have what I have. And it's still not raining. Where is the thunderstorm we were promised? I want thunder. I want lightning. I want the wrath of God to be thundering to the sky. Calm down, calm down. All I do. I like thunderstorms. I do. I like them. Yes, I do. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Thank you for watching. Behave yourselves, people, because you know I will not. I don't know how. I will try to do another video in about an hour. I may do a video on my phone in about 30 minutes. But anyway, thank you for watching. Later. Behave yourselves. Later.